Alright, this is your host N Commander, and hopefully everything is working. Let me turn off the air conditioner for now. Actually, you know what? My phone's here, so I can do an... oh no, we do have some viewers. Okay, I was a little concerned that there was going to be absolutely no one awake at this hour. So if chat can give me an audio check, would be appreciated. So, I did some work between streams. You're now hearing the audio from the Chromebook routed into YouTube. I've also got the Pi routed in. Or actually, I do have it disabled. I'm hearing it here, but I can actually disable that. So, what we're hearing is radio background noise. Because I want to hunt for a packet. I want to hunt for some APRS traffic on HF. Because theoretically, there should be people that are doing it. It should be AX25, single sideband, 300 baud. And I just want to hear how I sound on stream, so this might get a little recursive. Alright, so I am live. There should be people that are doing it. It should... Okay, that actually sounds good. Let me... So I've got a WebSDR up on the other screen. And earlier tonight, I was testing decoding stuff. I was actually... I can actually demonstrate right now. So that might be really unpleasant for the stream. But what we're listening to here is what's known as GTA. I actually have the software installed, so we could try and decode. I was actually doing this earlier tonight. So this is probably the most popular data mode in current year. I'm not a huge fan. I feel it. I every time I've used it, I find it a little soulless. Doesn't help that the software sometimes glitches out. Yeah, there it goes. This laptop isn't super fast. Let's see if it actually can decode anything. It's got to go through a full cycle. It is hearing it, so that's a good sign. All right. Just give you an idea. Yep. Hey, there we go. That's a bunch of decodes. So, stop. So we heard... Oh, wow. We heard Cuba. That's a Cuban station. That's C-O... I need to look that one up. Oh, I really wish I could make two-way contact with that station. I don't have a transmit antenna up. I have actually managed to blast... That is a Cuban station. I just managed to hear Cuba just for demonstration. That is an impressive... That's actually a really impressive station. Okay. Yeah, that's a Cuban station. I'm sorry, it's... Cuba is a complicated subject. I have some personal ties. Seeing anything from Cuba is... I've always wanted to make two-way contact with them. I don't listen very often on HF. And I don't... This was the first time I ever put it through a WebSDR, but I don't even know if they could hear me, realistically speaking. I mean, here to Cuba... 1,400 miles, give or take. It's a maybe. If I bounce it out at 10 watts, assuming I could escape the... The problem is I have obstructions directly to my... It might be doable. I might try it before I leave this place, because I'll be much less likely to hear Cuba on the West Coast. So yeah, so this is basically long-range communications. A few of them really long-range, because apparently we have a band opening. Like, I don't recognize most of the... I don't know most of the prefixes offhand, but what I'm actually interested in hearing is... I also know that this is one of those frequency bands that just completely drives me crazy. So, in theory... APRS traffic should be being routed over HF as well. I haven't seen a whole lot in the feeds, but I really doubt that many people are gating it. And even if they are gating it, it doesn't stand out in the data feed. So I just kind of wanted to take a listen. So there are some operating procedures for this. I have to find exactly where in the band I have to sit for it. I need to hear a packet to make sure I'm. So it's a 300 baud frequency shifting key. Here we go. Vast majority of HF APRS operations is the upper end of the 30-meter band. Transmission range between 500 to 1,000. There is a chance that there is nothing actually there. I know it's used in Australia quite heavily. Alright. So there's a lot, like, a lot of the guides for this are just very, very outdated. It's quite possible we hear absolutely nothing. Alright. Yeah, like, so, alright, let's just try going down to 30 meters and actually see what we can hear. I wonder if I should actually use a different... You know what, let me try... There's one in Utah. That's not what I wanted. There's a WebSDR out in Utah. I should be able to hear all of North America from there, because that would be about 2,000 miles in each direction. Also, the fire alarm is apparently going off. Alright, so... So I want 101478. Where are we going to hear it? We could tune in Russia if I really wanted to, but I think I'm going to go with Utah for now. Okay. Covers 2 meter, 40... Okay, so we want the bottom half of the amateur bands. So that would be WebSDR 2. This is a very old school page. Okay, here we go. 30 meter. I'm almost surprised it hasn't asked me to install Real Player. Ooh, wow, this site is not as nice to use as the other one. Like, it keeps sliding. Alright, audio start. Slow the volume a bit. So 10, 1, 4, 7. I'm hearing voice of some kind. Alright, let's switch to... That actually sounded like 300 baud. That actually did... There's really bad interference here. I think 300... I've never tried to actually listen for this frequency, this modulation on air. So I'm looking for a 300 baud. Here it is, 300. I'm not hearing much of anything, but like I said, there's a lot of interference here. Let's... I wonder if there's APRS on 40. Network is... So actually, no, it's... apparently it's really all of it's on 30. I mean, we could probably hunt around and find some on 40, because the digital part of the band is pretty small. And right now, I'm not even trying to transmit. I'm really just trying to listen. Half the art of working on radio is being able to listen and to be patient. Let's try this one. Let's take a listen from. You know, why don't we just listen locally? Like, wanted to use Utah because it was right in the center of the country, but it's got so much noise on it, and I know the one here doesn't. Um, all right, so so Firefox start logging. Okay. So it's definitely not here. All right, where's my waterfall? Like, can I have a waterfall display, please? That would be really nice. I'm remembering there is software. I believe there is some software that can tune to these directly. I've never. I'm. This is a learning experience, but like I said, this is my own personal experience with ham radios. You have to spend a lot of time to accomplish very little, and I think it's why we lose a lot of so many people. Like, it's the reason why I fell off the air multiple times. I just keep getting back on the horse. But I mean, realistically speaking, this is I've been a general for the last 8 years, and realistically, I've only gone on HF a handful of times. Largely because I couldn't make any contacts locally, and I couldn't think of what to use it in my life. Granted, the circumstances of my life have changed, which makes I'm more motivated to definitely just get into it. So why don't we start listening? Because we're definitely seeing stuff in the waterfall. All right. So let's listen. Now, I could have sworn, I thought on 40 it was lower sideband, but this is saying to upper sideband. I think the next question now is we need to see if we can decode a packet, because we're basically just going to let that run in the background and see if we hear anything, because this is literally the art. Although I am curious, what is going on over here? That's a data mode of some type. That may be ready. That actually sounds like ready to me. Yeah, that actually sounds like ready. That it may be one of the other data modes, but it's using a full 3 kilohertz of bandwidth. Can this even decode ready? Yeah, this can decode ready. I really need a less garbage application. All right, start listening. Well, it's hearing something. That's a data transmission of some sort. Maybe I'm tuning into it wrong. I wonder if that's wind modem. I know it exists. I know it's roughly here in the frequency band. That may just be wind modem. Well, is it a RTTY signal? Like, I can't tell what it is. I mean, it sounds like RTTY to me. Actually, you know what? That would be an AM narrowband then, or not AM. Uh, no, that may be a. I do actually think that's a RTTY transmission. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Well, that's hearing it loud and clear. Give it more volume. Yeah, like, it's definitely a data mode of some site. It might be... I mean, it was sounding a lot more like it. No, yeah, no, this is definitely a RTTY signal. I mean, look how the software wants to hear it. You know, I want to figure out how to decode this. I've done it on a few other things. So I think I have done this once before. Like, not I did it with a sample audio. Signal range, upper signal limit. It's almost like it's just slightly too... I mean, it definitely sounds like RTTY to me. Looking at Wiki, I want to just hear the... I am getting distracted because I do want to figure out how to decode that. But let's go back to what I was actually trying to do. So 147... Yeah, I want to make sure that's the right frequency. 10147 megahertz. Upper side, mark space on... Well, we're not transmitting, so mark space doesn't matter. Let's set a 15-minute timer. 30-minute timer, actually. I really should find something better than a web page for this. Actually, you know, it'll stay up there in the bar, but this laptop is... It's a little anemic with Firefox. Like, I wanted simple. I may have gone a little too simple. But the reason I'm saying a timer here is if there is packet transmission, we should hear something within a 30-minute cycle, because that's the spec says. See, I should set up something to decode it now, just in the offhand chance we actually do hear something. So, let me take my handheld. Let me go HF. So the only real difference here is it's modem 300, I believe. $300 baud. So in theory, if we hear a packet, I'll even load XStar up for good measure. On the offhand chance we hear something, we'll be able to see what we'll actually be able to decode it. Okay. Wow, this is just like remarkable. You know, this is almost like canting. Like for me, this is honestly, receiving transmission is the problem with most hams is they transmit too much. You can use, if you look at a massive ham shack, you'll see a lot of equipment that, realistically speaking, is overkill for most hams, because it's a hobby that you can throw money at. It's a very pay-to-win hobby. You know what? Chat, we just heard something. That was a packet. That was a packet. Oh, that was... Direwolf tried to transmit. Let's turn that off. Oh, no, it was, I'm not sure if that was us that made a packet. I think it was us that made a packet. Okay, let me get into XStar. Let's turn off transmission interface. Disable. Start. So I think it needs to be lower sideband narrow. Or, sorry, upper sideband narrow. Oh, man, it's been so long since I did HF anything. You know, I think I've actually heard that Cuba station before. Alright, well, now we listen. I mean, there's no way to know if there's anything to listen for. So, WebSDR has... Chat, did you hear that? I heard that. Did we just get a decode? That was a packet. We didn't get a decode, but we definitely just heard a packet. The volume might have been too low. You know what? I'm going to hit the audio record button, and let me see if it actually... Nope. Okay, I can't actually record. You know what? Let me grab Audacity, because we can record this. This laptop... The reason I have this as a completely separate laptop is so I can do cursed things to its sound system. Something's causing interference. Is that us? I mean, it can't be us. I mean, my radio, I'm not even on this band. Like, WebSDR, I've literally heard people in ham circles say using it is cheating, and I disagree with that. I never used it myself, but it's more because the idea of not using the internet was what actually appealed me to ham radio. I think I was being a little bit from First Elements too much, because I had to... I don't know if I had something to prove, because I've done quite a bit with my license. I think the laptop is reaching its limit. You know what? I don't need Audacity. I just need a record. Well, there's a different... The thing is that I wasn't into SDRs. I was always into the radio part of amateur radio. I only have an SDR to help me with the two-way transmission thing, to hear what I'm actually putting on the air. So we definitely heard at least one packet. I'm going to stretch my legs. I mean, when I got my ticket, the guy, he was an old timer. He was very much an old timer. I actually was listening to a CW conversation earlier. Hopefully the stream isn't too loud. Like, I need to have the volume up so I can hear it. You know what? I can lower the system volume so I can just lower the actual speakers. Yeah, that should be fine, because Direwolf should still be hearing it pretty much all the same. Now I can really crank it. Yeah, okay, that has a much better chance of decode. Audio volume is a huge part of this, and I'm probably making YouTube unpleasantly loud. I'm shocked that 11 people are watching this at 5 a.m. I was going to do packet radio originally, but I just didn't have the energy, and I kind of wanted to hear some signals. Let me see how the stream hears, because what I hear now is quite a bit different than what you'll hear.
The AX25 single sideband 300 baud.
It's whatever ships in Debian. I literally haven't switched out the
stream hears, because what I hear now is
yeah, I would maybe install Chromium on it, but I find Firefox tends to work a little bit better on anemic computers, although this machine is not really meant. I think, you know what, I could just install Midori. It's like, I really don't need much of a web browser. I really just need HTML5, and Midori should be able to run WebSDRs. Like, I literally installed the MacBook the other day. There's something incredibly zen about it. Like, I really have felt that I feel like modern society has always become that we must be constantly online, constantly engaged. It's like the desire to get away from constantly staring at screens. I say this as I literally have 3 screens on my desk right now. But to actually just sit and focus on a task and, like, just have nothing else. Like, obviously I'm talking to the stream, but it's easier for me to accomplish things when I know they're being... I find it enjoyable to show things, to do presentations. It makes me do things that I wouldn't otherwise do, and I'm a better person for doing that. Like, I did a lot of my travels just by myself, but it got to a limit. It's like, what's next? I've been making a pretty large effort, if I'm on a screen, at least not to be mindlessly surfing the web. I mean, my YouTube channel is my main source of income right now, and I literally have a cross-continental move in the works. I'm closing out my life here in Jersey City, but realistically, that doesn't actually take that much time. I have a sleep disorder. For me to go out, I'm not awake during the day. I'm live streaming now because I can. And on top of that, occasionally, the human body is not designed to go through how I sleep. And every once in a while, it gets really hell. And it's been particularly bad as of late. I think I want to really know what this RIDI signal is over here. I said I was going to wait a full half hour. We did hear one packet. Like, I was making the mental comparison of amateur radio to RuneScape earlier. I don't know if it's a valid comparison, but, it's like you do a whole lot of work and you don't know if you're ever going to succeed. But, I mean, it's also an analogy for life. I mean, the advice I've always given to people about getting licensed is what you get out of ham radio is what you put into it. Um, you can certainly meet people on amateur radio. I mean, I was literally listening to a Rag Chew on CW earlier. I just took up FL Digi, and it was a 72-year-old radio operator. Like, you can totally do it. The absolute bare minimum as a radio amateur, you don't need a license to receive in most countries. Realistically, if you're watching this YouTube video, you're almost certainly in one of those countries. A technician license, the requirements do vary from country to country, but in the United States, we have what's called the technician license. It's a 50 question test. You have to pass 35. It's largely dealing with the rules and regulations of amateur radio, because amateur radio is international treaty, and there are penalties. It doesn't happen very often because most people aren't that stupid, but there are times where the FCC has dropped down like a ton of rocks for an amateur misusing their license. Usually in cases of egregious use. There was one guy who basically was broadcasting political propaganda and hogging up the lower half of the 40-meter band, plus had beacons with derogatory slurs, yada, yada, yada. FCC actually got him on a felony charge. Like, the way the thing of it is, it's the same type of conversation you could have in a train station. Or you can completely unscrew conversation. Most areas, realistically, most people say 2 handhelds is the way to go, because then you can do two-way contact. I would say a base station and a handheld. If you're really strapped for cash, 2 handhelds, because that's how I started. Because working with a handheld to do data modes is actually quite difficult. APRS isn't terrible, but there's a lot of bad advice online. So when you deal with, and you're dealing with what in ham lingo it's called QRP, or low power operations, 5 watts on a handheld, and handhelds, unless you modify them, do not generally have good reception, and even then, it's the cheap radios generally. Well, I've heard modern Baofangs are a lot better. Mine are not great on reception, but mine are like early Baofangs. You could probably, like, if you want to basically just talk to APRS, I would recommend a mag mount, or, well, actually, I'd recommend a J-pole. You could probably do a full pre-built kit for $100 with 2 handhelds. If you want a base station, unfortunately, the market for technician base stations is basically non-existent. The floor dropped out a long time ago. You're either going to have to, if you want to do it cheap, you're going to have to go to a ham fest and hope you get lucky. That's actually what I did. My HF rig has 2 meter and 70 centimeter. I bought it for HF, but I tend to use it on VHF. I got it for $300, but I've seen them go for a lot higher on the internet. They were a lot higher at the time. There is a lot of gatekeeping in amateur radio. I'm not even going to. It's like I feel like I should write a survival guide, but it's really no different than like playing MMOG. Like, there are people who only play RuneScape for the social aspect. There are people who only talk on Usenet for the social aspect. There are people who will sit on Citizens Band radio and be there for the social aspect. To a lesser extent, the internet has largely replaced a lot of this, but you still have a fair number of old-timers, or just people that don't want to be on the internet. I mean, they do exist. It's also, you also get a lot of, it's a very it is the one place you can actually go where there is no commercialization because it's outlawed. Amateur radio is specifically radio spectrum granted to individual non-commercial use. There are commercial products that work in the amateur spectrum, but everything you use, people use commercial stuff on ham radio bands, but 95% of what you do is something that someone cobbled together in a garage. So you're basically dealing with open source on little bandwidth. That's a decent way of describing a lot. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I think I'm just rambling at this point. But one of the things that I always stuck out to me is I was listening to I was kind of always a traveling. I would always do ham wherever I showed up, but I was never part of a club. Um, I think it was one of the people that it may have been when I took my technician because this I remember as a story, and I don't generally listen to that many ham radio stories. But I know in the novice band in the early days, they basically would have fixed mode crystals, because in those days you only had CW, Morse code, and Morse code requirement was you needed to have no Morse code to get on air, and you were talking maybe you get one, maybe two contacts in a day, if that, listening for maybe 2 to 3 hours. Thinking you may be able to hear quite a bit more, but whatnot. Like it's not an easy hobby. Like you're going to have to know a lot about sound routing because the basis of radio is sound go in radio 1, sound come out radio 2. And that really is all there is to it. It's just what is that sound and how are you transmitting that sound. We're almost all 30 minutes in, so I think when we hit the 30-minute mark, I'm going to take another crack and see if we can decode that radio signal. I mean, I'm in an apartment block. I've done hamming in a city. It's not easy. But usually in a city, someone will have already set up a repeater somewhere, and you can. The way you should get involved is that, or ham radio repeaters are usually run by a club or an individual. The clubs almost certainly will run nets on their repeater, and just listen in. Don't join in at first. I really have to stress this one, because you're trying to join an existing group that has been there for a long time. And amateur radio has a reputation for eating their own. I hate to say it. There's a lot of people that get licensed, have a bad experience on air, and never return. So you would want to, and realistically, you're also going to want to learn how to operate net control. Like, a good class will give you the basics. I took a pretty decent operator class, but it isn't required. You can just sit the exam. And the questions are public, as are the answers. I mean, if you really just want to get on air, you can grind the exam and take it. And I'd say about a full quarter of the question pool is, if you know anything about electronics, you'll have no problem with. A fair bit of it is understanding channelized operation, because you generally can't go into HF on a TAC license. You can do it on CW, but that's it. But technicians these days don't know CW, so it's kind of a holdover of days of yore. We are hearing absolutely bupkis. I'm tempted to try an Australian one. The reason I say that is I know APRS is actually fairly well used in Australia. Yeah, here we go. VK APRS network. Okay, so they actually have better operating instructions here. 10147.6 kilohertz, which is roughly where we are at. Upper frequency band, which is what we're set to. SSB 300 BPS AFSK. Uh, yeah, I'm actually tempted to. I almost want, like, right now, I'm actually really tempted to tune to Australia. That sounded like a packet, but I don't think we got a good enough. I don't think we heard that well enough to decode it. Let me see. Let's see if we can actually decode some, just to make sure the sound setup is correct. So, single sideboard, 300 baud. Maybe not. Well, yeah, this laptop is very much at its limit. I think running. I mean, I'm running FFmpeg to stream the audio, but streaming the audio should not be stressing it out. So do we try for Australia, or do we try and decode this RTTY signal? Because I think I'm kind of interested to try and get that RTTY signal. Yeah, you know, it's been a full minute, full 30 minutes. So let's try. So AM narrowband. so now that I've got that, I need to tune it down. I'm not super sure I know what I'm doing, but a regular broadcast like that, I could probably figure out what it is. Okay, so it looks like it's a Navy transmission. It's in an amateur band. What exactly? This is apparently a known transmission. Encrypted military. Interesting. Okay. All right, so we're not hearing much in terms of packet radio right now. All right, so I'm thinking of where I want to do. You know what I'd probably have to do? I'd probably have to transmit my own 300 baud packets and see if I could decode them through the WebSDR. Because I'm not hearing it frequently enough. Like we've heard 2 packets, maybe 2 packets. We could try listening in Russia. Isn't there an Australia one? Let's take a listen. I think we should be able to listen in Europe. Oh, this is a nice one. Okay. All right, so we want to listen to... So now we're listening to the European feed. A lot of interesting notes on this one. Okay, so 10. We want upper sideband, 30 meters. That is not the right frequency band. 4, 7. Okay. It's right on the very edge of the band. But yeah, that should be fine because, yeah, it emanates. That is right at the very edge of the band. Actually, I really like having that marker because I didn't realize that signal. Oh, that's something. Hold on, that's something being transmitted in the amateur band right there. What is that? Oh, right, that's J. That's J. FT8. You know what? I need one of those big ham clocks. I think we're just going to sit here and listen to this one for a while. And we don't hear anything else, then... Well, it tells me that APRS on HF is likely dead, but I might just let it run, like, for a day or two. Yeah, because this looks like about as perfect as a setup as I can get, because 10.147, 10.147, technically it's 0.6. It's right at the edge of the band. That's okay. I feel like the volume should be able to go a little higher. That's a lot of WebSDR being listened to. I think it's good enough. Hey, Hal. I might try. I mean, I could. It's funny. I was actually talking about Australia earlier because I read some things that APRS in Australia on HF is more common. Like this may be a complete long shot, but I've never tried it, and I kind of want to, just for the sake of having done it. And what I may just do is I may just leave the laptop running for a full day and see if I get any decodes. Because I don't know. I don't feel like playing with the handheld. I did manage to do some work on the... I'm almost done with the Doom Power PC video. It's like, it's almost there. It's just... Where's my... There it is. So, I did discover this life hack, chat. I bought like a dumbbell, one of those water ones, and I've been keeping it by my desk. And I basically have just been doing arm exercises. Oh, Chad, I heard that. That was a packet. Did we decode it? The answer is no. Just can check the audio routing. mean, I definitely heard that packet. Let's try noise reduction. That just sounds like bad, but I don't think... I think it was just too weak to be decoded. We heard the carrier. Here, I'll put a timer up on my laptop so we can see how long we've been looking. Well, I'll try it after this one. Apparently the WebSDR down there doesn't actually tune into that band. But we could definitely do a bit of listens from bit to bit. I've never been to Oz, and I've always wanted to. I'm definitely hearing something in the void. Like, that definitely sounds like 300 baud tones. Bell 202. But it's definitely not strong enough to be decoded. Someone's bursting something over here, and... there's an art form for it. You're listening to the aberrations in the noise. And now that I've zoomed in the waterfall, you can actually see what looks like, I think we're hearing the backscatter of someone trying to transmit a packet. It's also completely possible that my setup won't work. I've never tried this before. Well, what you're hearing is radio background. You're hearing radio background radiation, more or less. Essentially the EM noise of both the planet itself and of modern society. It sounds very different in different places of the planet, but this is when scientists talk of radio astronomy, this is what they're talking about. It's listening to this noise and trying to discern signals out from it. I mean, you can't hear a whole lot from Earth. You hear a lot better in space. But I could send a message to the moon, use it as a radio reflector. I just heard a packet. Yeah, I mean, there it goes. So we are hearing packets. I think the band is too open. Although Direwolf should be able to understand this. Because basically we're feeding into Direwolf a full 1.24. I don't think you can decode packets. Can you do frequency key shifting? And there could be also a fair number of other problems. Like it could be that the audio is not loud enough. No, even in a Faraday cage, you still hear it. There's always some noise. Fair. Just out of curiosity, how much processing power am I using right now? Why is WSJX? I'm not even. I heard that packet. Okay, so apparently running WSFX was eating up all our system resources. Look, chat, there's actual idle time left. I'm surprised that it uses that much. I mean, it was decoding. Alright, so if I try auto notch, hold on, let me see, what can I do with the filter? Make the filter. Oh, chat. Damn, that was a packet right there. But you know what? I think I can make the filter. I mean, I'm essentially looking for a 200 hertz filter. So if we center it like that, we probably will hear the next one better. I mean, this is literally what they mean by put a narrowband filter on it. Well, I might not be tuned to it correctly. I've never tried to decode these type of packets before, and certainly not off an SDR. If I was doing this with the actual rig, I'd have the rig in sideband mode, and I might be having to tune closer up and down off the center line. Essentially, yes. I mean, when by narrowing the filter range, I'm hearing less noise, so theoretically more signal can get through. Because at least we're hearing packets. That's an actual win. So it's. Let me find the technical characteristics of a 300 baud signal. Is shifted between two frequencies 200 hertz apart at the 300 baud rate, known as frequency key shifting. So basically I need a bandwidth of, so it's about a 400 hertz wide. So let's try it with the more narrow filter, and we'll see if we can actually hear this packet when it comes back around. I'm just reading more about Okay, interesting. So the way it's actually working is that different radios use different tones within the band. That actually makes sense. That is annoyingly all right. So what does it actually recommend for settings for gang mass? So this is telling me I should be tuned to. I should actually be further into the band here, and then I want to now. I probably want to be like that. Because now I'm hearing a very narrow point of the frequency. So this says that I should be doing 300 megahertz. Mark it in space. Actually, RF. That looks like that was a packet right there. You must be able to set the radio frequency to within 20 hertz or so and keep it there indefinitely. $14.70. Okay, I just completely left the band. So let me mute that until I can get back into the band. Oh, why did this turn off? Oh, that was weird. Okay, then. That was interesting. That was a sound. So 147.8 is what it's recommending. We're definitely here. There's something sitting right there on the frequency band, but I feel like we're out of the band. I mean, that definitely looks like a 20 hertz signal. I mean, that's about what you would see. That was a much cleaner signal. I mean, we're definitely hearing it there. I think we just need... Let me see here. Yeah, let me try a more narrow... Let's go back to narrow. I'm just going to listen... to right about there, which just gets the all that interference noise out. There's something oddly hypnotic about it, because we're basically waiting for another human somewhere in the planet to transmit a packet that we can listen to. Oh, I hear one. That is definitely that was barely audible. Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it in the noise. Like the next one we hear, I want to see what the S meter is, because I don't. We're probably just not hearing anything loud enough. You know what that might be? That might be PSK31. We just heard. That may have just been PSK31 we just heard. I believe that's what that sounds like. There is another way of transmitting. Let me hear it. Nope, that was not. Yeah, there's definitely that emanation that shows up from time to time. The only way you could like, it really is just emanations in the void. Yeah, like I can just barely hear it. Assuming I'm not going completely mad. What you're listening for is like very alternating tones in the noise, and if you're not seeing it on the waterfall, it's not strong enough to be decoded, so don't worry about that. So one of the things we can, you know what we'll listen to next? We'll see if we can listen to Network 105, which is a packet BBS. We should be able to decode frames. Let's see. Do we have any group information? Let's see if they're doing any spots. Here we go. Network 105 HF packet radio. I gotta figure. Hold on. Mark space WebSDR. There's gotta be. Oh, you know, hold on. It's Direwolf has things about the mark in space. I'm currently just reading a whole bunch of things on stuff. On trying to actually get this to decode. Alright. We got another 7 minutes of this, and then I'm going to go see if we can listen to some other... we're going to see if we can hear anything on the modem band. I'm going to see if I've got something to eat, because I ate earlier, but I seem to still be hungry. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything, chat. I'm kind of mulling if I want to do packet BBS or we're going to keep hunting the signal. We've been at it for an hour now. I think listening for net 105 traffic sounds like a win. Because if we listen to, we should be able to hear quite a few routed frames over that, or at least I hope we do. Alright, I'm back. I am definitely back. Let's take a listen for packet BBS, because at this point, we've got 3 minutes left. We haven't heard anything substantial. We haven't been able to... So let's take a look at this network 507. So we probably want to be on a US tower for this, because the network was originally based out of Saskatchewan. All right, so let's take a listen. Let's see if we hear anything before we even really try and decode. Like, this is, believe it or not, it may not seem like this, but this has really been quite a good of a learning experience. So let's take a listen. We'll listen to the blower here. Yeah, because this can tune to the frequency band. So 14105. We are nope, that's 14. Yeah, nope. Okay, so we're now listening on the 20 meter band. Start the audio. Okay, so 3 kilohertz. Okay, so mark in space, yeah, so, okay. I'm starting to understand how the notation of this is written. It's a little bit odd to me, but I know HF works like that. Please note APRS or DX cluster. If possible, use 1051 or 1404. So we're basically listening to 2 meter on this network, but I'm assuming someone, yeah, it may be too early in the morning for someone to actually try and connect to this. See, I don't know, let's, do we, like, without a band opening, we're probably about 300 miles. It's 6 a.m. here. There's probably no one on air here, so. Wow, definitely not hearing a whole lot of traffic. I probably need to wait for the weekend. Like, if I really want to hear traffic, I think I'd have to wait for the weekend. Well, let's set the timer. And we'll see if we hear anything. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone to listen to out there right now. Alright, well. I'm not sure what I've learned about this experience, aside from the fact that there's more to do. I mean, we definitely did hear some packets. It's conceivable that if I just let it run long enough, I could potentially get a decode. I might just do that. I would have to leave the laptop running, but I might just do that and work on other things. I'm currently just reading more about how this network works, because being able to hear it is kind of a big thing. Ethernet packet. Ham gateway. Oh, interesting. So there is a packet routing network not far from me. Let me see how this works. I want to do packet operations. And I should be able to hit this. which talks about FlexNet. HFH. Here we go. Hold on. Wait. APRS using PSK63. So there is apparently PSK63 APRS. That is a Windows application. I probably can get that to work, though. See, this is one of the big problems you run into ham radio. It's Windows applications all the way down in many ways. God, you almost hear like tones of aliens listening to this. The single RF frequency for 30-meter PSK36 APRS operation is 10.147.700. So does Direwolf support this mode? Because maybe I'm doing this wrong. I might be trying to decode the wrong type of packet, because 300 speed bell tones is very outdated technology. It works, but every bounce you do on HF causes bad decreases. So let me take a look at what Direwolf actually supports. So no, it only does actually support 300 BPS AFSK. So interesting. So actually, hold on. Every APRS client has an identification string. I heard Morse code there. I'm coming up on 2 hours, and so far we have nothing to show for this little radio session. I think I do want to set up a packet BBS today, although I have to admit I'm kind of feeling better than I have in a few days, so maybe I will. The problem is it's been so blasted hot out, I really don't want to. Going out is easier said than done. Let me hear what PSK 63 sounds like. Yeah, hold on. Do I have, like, PSK software of any sort? Like, I should have something. Currently looking at the, wow, this is like a Windows-only thing. That led me to AOL.com. Yep, because it was on members.aol.com. Welcome to the wonderful world of using Linux. Is it half of ham stuff? Oh no, so apparently PSK 63 APRS is in fact dead, because I found someone writing an entire decoder about it and talking about the APRS messenger program. Yeah, you know what, that makes sense, because it's talking about now known to work on Windows Vista, but in ham radio that means it's been recently updated. To an extent. Hey D Carmich, we've been listening for APRS traffic and not hearing a thing, really. We heard a little bit in Europe, but nothing decodable. I probably just need to figure out where to, like, just park it and leave it there, and it would probably decode given enough time. Because I'm sort of debating what I need to do with my day today, and it may be a whole lot of nothing. Like, unfortunately, I have a lot of time on my hands that I really don't really want. I kind of would love to just get out of here, but at the moment, that isn't... I basically have a few more weeks to strap in before that happens. I'm just currently taking a look at... So yeah, this is talking about Vara for AX25 packet. Well, I just found something here that might help. Listen to sound card. I just found test clips. Soundcardpacket.org. God, that's a sound hearing it on the radio. Alright, common frequencies. So listen to packets at 300. So what is that playing it back onto? You're going there. You need to go to speaker. Well, interestingly, that didn't decode. Hold on. Mute. That didn't decode at all. Okay, why didn't that decode? Also playback, that shouldn't matter. So recording, you're listening there. $300 baud, AFSK. Hold on. Baud rate is 300. Do I have Direwolf set up wrong? Oh, okay, so that's how that works. Hold on, I just learned of something. Modem for HF 300 FHF. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, so there's additional syntax when you're using Direwolf on HF. So, you know, let's just try the example here that supposedly that ah, all right, so hold on. Modem 300, A minus 7 at 30. A minus 7 at 30. Why did it not like that? Apparently, okay, maybe this is outdated. So 16, 18, like that. Which is what it was doing beforehand. Alright. There's this B plus one, which apparently makes it more tolerant. Oh, I just realized this is I forgot the laptop has a very old copy of Direwolf, like ancient. Um, I should update the copy of Direwolf on here if I actually want to do this. B plus is new and B is new in release 1.7. This says Direwolf 1.6. Acts like FMD modulator, provides tolerance for signals that are off frequency, which makes sense. I don't know, like I don't know if it's gonna make a difference, but it's a start. Because ultimately, the second problem is that WebSDR audio, well, maybe it is PCM over the internet. I mean, radio over IP is specifically designed not to add additional distortions to the extent possible. Alright, I'm just currently looking at more of the APRS stuff. Modem frequencies. Oh, I just figured out how that works. Okay, hold on. Hold the boat. Hold the boat. Before we actually Well, I probably should wait for the newer one because, like I said, it's got a B demodulator, acts like an FM demodulator. The problem is I only have the one channel set, and this is the multi-channel thing. Uh, that is today I learned. That is, okay, I'm actually learning how to do stuff. so this now gives me the updated direwolf. I'm just gonna make install it. Alright, so now we have the B plus discriminator. I guess we should try it again then. Why don't we just try it right here? Because you know what? People are going to start waking up now. So 1476 upper sideboard max in. Okay. Mute off. So while we're trying that, let's try that sample file again, see if we can get some decodes. Nope. Where'd you get the test clips for this thing? Because at this point, I'm not sure what the problem is. Okay, so here's the test results CD. So there is a test CD, but I don't know if it does anything. Well, more specifically, I don't know if it has the right... here we go. So compared to how we were running, I think I closed the old direwolf window entirely. Yeah, I did. Okay, so that's the old way of handling this. Okay, so what it actually seems to recommend... So there's two ways to do it. You can either do B+, cause frequencies to shift, less likely to be decoded properly. So this would actually be the equivalent of that. So you know what? Hold on. Control C here. Okay, so now it's listening for those... Oh, that just scared me. I forgot I set a timer. Okay. So those now show mismatched tones, so... I guess the capture of packet may or may not be decodable. But we can try it again. Yep, and nothing. I feel like we were hearing more in Europe. But you know what? We'll give it 30 minutes because at this point... Okay. I mean, I figured listening for 30 minutes, we didn't hear any decodes, although we also haven't heard a lot of packets. I think we were definitely hearing a lot more in Europe. So I say, let's go back to Europe. Chat, that was a packet. Chat, we got a decode. That was an actual decode. Holy crap, we actually just heard something. Let's get X star. Did that decode? It probably didn't decode. Yeah, because that was running. Chat, that means I had it configured correctly. Your transmission control is off, yes. What did we actually hear? We heard IW2OH. Oh, wow. We just heard Italy. That is a mailbox in Milan. Where is the SDR? Chat, we just heard from Yeah, chat, we just heard it from the Netherlands. I almost wonder if I should be eye-gating this. Because I am listening to it. I mean... Yeah, you know what? There are stations that are doing it, so I kind of wouldn't mind listening, like just letting this run for a full day. But let's actually see if we hear anything else, because that was the first actual packet transmission we saw. Chat, that's a win. We actually heard something. Yeah, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to block out the stream feed for a moment. Because you know what? I want to eye-gate this, because then I can watch the statistics to see how much we actually hear in a period. So this is going to be KD2J or T1. And yeah, we're going to... And we're just going to be a receive-only eye-gate. Okay, and then let me turn the feedback on. Okay, it just connected to the eye-gate. So, cool. If we hear another packet, it's going to get relayed. We'll be able to gate it, and we may even get first credit for it, because realistically, how many people are actually listening on HF? Now we wait. I'm going to do the dishes, since right now we're kind of just waiting to see if we hear another packet. Because it might be a while, But the odds are we'll at least hear that one come around, and then we'll be able to spot it on the map. Here, actually, what I'll do is let's go to enable auto maps, and then let's just zoom out. So when we do actually hear it, and then I just need to switch this because we are operating as one right now. All right, let's see if we actually hear anything. Like it's definitely not much traffic, but the fact that we heard a packet and decoded it makes me so happy. Like I kid you not. Oh, that's interesting. I just looked at the station that actually I-gated the one we just heard. Chat. This was I-gated in Canada. There's like no one listening. There's no one I-gating on this band because realistically, HF transceivers are expensive. Who's going to sit gating? So yeah, the channel that actually heard that last packet, it was last heard 4 days ago, 3 hours and 50 minutes ago in Vancouver. So even if we listen to a WebSDR, we are spotting it because we know that the contact is live. My Yatsu has delamination on its panel. It's got the zebra striping. There. Sometimes again. Wait, did I just hear a packet, or was that my imagination? That was a packet. Okay, so why didn't this hear it? Oh. Chat, it helps if I turn the program on. We heard 2 packets, though. What did we hear that time? We're actually hearing quite a bit. All right, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to listen, and we'll see what else we hear. Chat, it spotted our station. All right. I have a general license from the FCC. I was a tech for 2 years, or no, a bit longer than that. Then I upgraded it, and then I never used it after I upgraded it. I did do some work with text, but yeah, we actually managed to decode actual HF packets. Let me see if I'm actually gating them. Yeah, I should be. Yeah, chat, I am in fact gating them. Oh, right, and the GPS on this station is completely broken. What is it actually saying? What is that GPS coordinates? I didn't tell it to send China as my location, and I don't have it set as my location. Yeah, because my comment isn't getting copied, but yeah, you can see what we're hearing here. Morse code is not required anymore in the United States. It hasn't been required in a long time, and it hasn't been required in a lot of countries for a long time. I believe in Canada, examiners have to know it, but regular operators know. I just realized that the APRS display on the stream is blocking the packet. Someone needs to tell me these things. Alright, let's see. Oh, I didn't even start the stopwatch for 30. Yeah, so let's listen for 30 minutes, because I completely forgot to stop the stopwatch. I got to turn off the dishwasher. Oh. That could have been bad. That could have been me blowing the fuse bad. I mean, you're literally hearing radio transmissions from the other side of the planet, and it really puts it all in perspective. And we're just hearing whatever people are blasting because they don't even know who's listening to it. I hear an air packet. Wasn't able to decode it, though. The volume level looks happy. The volume level looks happy. So, yeah, this is basically just going to run and keep... No, the requirement... technicians can use frequency band... you need... Morse is no longer required for any of the license classes, but your license class determines what bands you can transmit. But right now, what I'm doing doesn't even require a license right now. You only need a license when you transmit. Everything I've done in this stream, you could do without a license, and it helps to have actually done it. All right, I'm going to modify the stream saying... That is, I have set out my goal and managed it. Like, I am remarkably happy with that. I really wish I understood what the iGate to TX. I'm assuming that's transmissions from the iGate. Oh, okay, that's the 30-minute meter one that we heard before. I'm guessing we're only going to hear the other beacon. Like, if we start hearing these on a loop, then we've basically heard everything in the area. Because the way APRS works is you put the antenna up, you listen, and you keep listening until you've heard all the beacons. And it basically runs on a cycle. Once we listen long enough, it'll calculate Aurora. I don't even know what it'll show because, like I said, we're hearing HF stations. But I mean, if we look at the map, the WebSDR is where my mouse cursor is, and we're hearing a station in Germany, and we're hearing a station in Italy. So I mean, that's still propagation over 300 miles. Like, that is nothing to scoff at. Oh, I hear another one coming in. No decode though. Part of how ham radio works is that you just keep retransmitting to some degree until you get the two-way contact. So if I were doing CQ, which is seeking another station for our contact, I would basically just sit transmitting KD2J or TCQ over and over again until I get a response or I give up. That's known as calling frequency or calling. For this, I'm literally just using a laptop. There is no equipment for what I'm using right now. This is entirely software. I am listening to WebSDR.org and I'm connected to an SDR in the Netherlands, and I'm just decoding the audio feed. So nothing here aside from the laptop itself is the laptop itself is the only hardware. My main base is a Yatsu FT857D. Like, what I could do is if I wanted to communicate with any of these stations, I could flip my rig up and then open a line to the local APRS network, because I'd be coming in off an RF channel, which means most of the time they will route that. And then I could send a message to one of these stations if I want to. So I could establish two-way communication like this. One of the other things I could do is I could light up the one of the reflectors in the area. Here I'm in range of the East Coast reflector, and there's two input nodes that I should be able to reach. So I could bridge myself to another repeater and call CQ. I've never done that one. Well, any APRS program will do it. I'm using Direwolf to decode the audio. Um, decode the raw audio from the SDR, and then Xaster is connected to it. I think that's all we're going to hear is those two stations, but I mean, like I said, the SDR is here in the Netherlands, and we're hearing 1 and 2. But like I said, we'll see. We've got an hour 20 minutes before this listening cycle is complete. Well, I mean, the APRS system is definitely used in search and rescue. The federal government uses it for Firewatch. Like, if you really want to see APRS being used, look at the Pacific Northwest of the United States. I'm just kind of sorry. I'm just kind of. I very rarely like that. It's that rare moment of actual accomplishment because, like, you have one of the big things with ham radios. You will very frequently not have help. Hold on. I can turn the volume up higher. The volume may have been too low for the stream because what you hear and what I hear is slightly different. Sorry, chat. Actually, I'll be quiet. I'll mute my mic so the chat can hear it. Or I'll keep my mic low so when the next packet comes in, you should all be able to hear it. You should be able to hear the static a lot better. I'm assuming chat's hearing it better. Like, is that better? I just heard a packet that we need to decode. When we did that, Darwin complained. Well, if you plug your shortwave radio into your computer, you should be able to do this. A shortwave radio should be able to tune into the ham frequency bands. Well, it depends on exactly what bands the shortwave has, but... Yeah, I mean, we can switch. I could switch to monitoring. I mean, I'm listening to HF. If I was listening to, we're listening to HF, and we're listening to HF in Europe. If I listen to VHF in the local area, I get a lot more things. But, like I said, HF signals can go for hundreds of miles. Like, assuming you can hear it, the track can hear it, what's happening is that HF bands deal with what's called transmission through the atmosphere, which is why the packets are not decoding that. We're hearing it, but it doesn't decode. Newer HF modes deal with this a lot better, but APRS has not been updated. There's been attempts to update APRS, but there hasn't been much success in updating APRS. So I'm a little surprised that that's all you're hearing in Europe. Like, how's that? Is that better for hearing me? Because what I'll probably end up doing is I'll just leave the stream running. Take a shower here in a bit. It is hot and it's sweaty. You know, I wonder if increasing the volume would help, because I know Direwolf wants the volume about as high as it will go. The other stations... I've got a lot of volume gauges I have to adjust. Let's see if that improves. Because I know for a fact that Direwolf really wants the volume to be about as loud as it can get. And that shouldn't be clipping. This station is saying it's got an operator present, but interestingly, notice how it's wobbling off the frequency band. Like, see how it says the 0.1, 0.2? It's showing where it's actually being received. That's actually where it should be, but it is slightly off the central line. So that's why we were having some decoding issues earlier. Well, this actually makes me feel a lot better about doing packet radio next, because this is about the hardest thing you can decode as far as... HF packet radio is quite hard, and the fact that we're hearing it is quite a good sign. I think when I'm not sure if I'm going to just try and connect to the local packet BBS, but I think I want to set up a packet BBS and just get an idea for it. just want to let it run and see what we hear, because right now I'm kind of mulling on what comes next. Because I could install HF on the Prius. There's nothing stopping me. And if I'm transmitting HF on the Prius, especially if I'm not in the standard band, I could spot myself with a WebSDR from the internet. Because I could spot myself on 2-meter, I could spot myself on HF. Because putting a ham stick in the car, the odds are I'll probably end up working quite a bit of things. The car's going to be a full mobile station. That's the end game for it. All the work I'm doing with the Pi right now. Oh, I just heard a station. No decode. You see, one of the major problems with modem lines back. Oh, that was a decode. What did we hear? Is that a new station? No, well, we heard that one before. Oh, wait, that's a different station. Oh yeah, it's advertising a packet bulletin board. Like, if I wanted to get online to that packet BBS, what I could do is I could contact some of the hams and ask them to route my traffic. That's completely legal as long as all participants in the conversation are amateur operators. Traffic routing like that is legal. It's only when it's not amateurs it's not. Carl, listen to APRS. That's where they'll end up. Most hams will connect their weather stations or weather station feeds, and they'll just broadcast it directly onto APRS. You won't hear that on HF. Like that, the fact that that's squawking APRS and not an identifier is a very old client, but I think turning up the volume actually helped. Because that was another decode that we weren't getting. chat. Let's see here. How much time do we got left in this cycle? Because I did set a timer. We got 6 minutes on this cycle. I think what I'll do is I think I'm just going to leave it running. I'll leave it running as a different stream, though. Oh, that's a new one I just heard. Oh, it heard a ship. It heard HB. Yeah, apparently it's a sailboat. Where is it? Oh, chat, that's a moving target. That is a literal moving target. Hold on, where is that? Chat, look at that. How do I tell it to track? Check that out, chat. We're actually hearing marine traffic. Let's see. We can make this a little bit easier. Let me put text in black. That helps. And for the map, background color. There we go. Now that's what a tactical map should look like. That's really cool, chat. We're actually tracking a ship. Let's turn off the buttons. Alright, so let me set up a new stream. Actually, I don't think I'm ready to do long. I mean, there's only 10 people watching. Like, this is not that popular. What I think I need to do at some point is create, like, a new channel which has, like, always on. I'll leave it on for now, because I just don't know. I don't really want to work on videos right now. I just need to kind of. I think I need to do packet BBS next. I think at this point it's the next obvious thing, and I eventually want to route some IP. I'm just checking my messages right now. So I'm also reading more about decoding RTTY because there are relatively large, powerful RTTY transmissions. I believe W1AW still does RTTY transmissions. I know they do Morris ones, but I assume they do RTTY because they let me see how this sounds on the radio on the phone because, like I said, I'm still trying to work out the specifics of getting the audio routed. Oh, well, that's what it is. That sounds just. Yeah, I should lower the levels. I just realized they were that bad. I'm sorry. Just gonna lower them to basically as low as they will go.
Yeah, I should lower the levels. I just realized they were that bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think that's much better. Alright, I think this is a good wrapping up point. We've been live for 3 hours, 13 minutes. I actually accomplished what I wanted to set out and do, so I think I'm just going to let this run. I'll post on Mastodon about it. I've got a Discord channel where I'm talking about ham radio stuff, and if I don't end up sleeping, I might do the packet BBS stuff today. I also just need to work more on the next video. It's just like progress. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna